Welcome back to J-Abdul Sports. And I just want to do a quick video today on who Michigan next head coach will be and who it should be. Now we know that the front runners right now is you got Kenny Dillingham, the head coach of Arizona State, who's probably the odds-on favorite to win the job. But then you got Alabama's Kellen DeBoer, followed by former Michigan assistant Jed Fish. And I think all those guys will be a good fit. All those guys will win. All those guys will be successful at Michigan. But I think if Michigan hired any one of those guys, I think they'll be doing themselves a disservice. I think that'll be the same boring Michigan way of doing things, of hiring. And I think this time they need to go outside the box a little bit. Um, they need to think outside the box when they make this next hire. And but don't get me wrong, I think all those guys will be successful at Michigan. Like I said, I mean it's Michigan. Anybody can win on the field at Michigan, in my opinion. Just like unless you're Rich Rod or something. Oh, that just brought back some terrible memories. Man, it was bad, bad, bad times. Oh boy. Uh, but what I think Michigan need right now, following the scandal and the cheating, all kind of cheating, cheating on the field, cheating off the field, cheating on your wife, you know, any kind of way you could cheat, they did it, in every sense of the word, they cheated. But following the scandal and the cheating and everything like that, I think Michigan need to go outside the box, and I think they need to hire somebody that's more than just a good head coach on the field. I think they need to hire somebody that's also a leader of men. You know, you say like you ask like Abdul like how do they know? They thought Sharon Moore was a leader of men. They thought Sharon Moore was a good human being, and that's true. And but that's on Michigan to figure out, and they can't get it wrong this time. They have to get it right. They have to get it right. And I think for in order for them to get it right, they have to just start all over anew and think outside the box. And I think that leader of men that they're looking for is Navy's head coach Brian Newberry. Now, Coach Newberry's been the head coach of Navy since 2023. He has a 25-12 record since taking over as head coach, and he was also considered like one of the most innovative and best defensive minds in college football. Well, you might say, well, um, you might say, well, having a defensive minded coach might not be the best thing for Bryce Underwood, and you might be right with that. That might be true. But I mean, Sharon Moore was an offensive minded coach, and the offense was horrible. It was terrible. So what difference do it make, really? And plus, you're Michigan, so just go out and find the best offensive coordinator in the country and bring them in, and there you go. But like I said, Sharon Moore and that offense was terrible, and it makes me, it makes me mad thinking about how conservative he was on offense, you know, on the field when he was the total opposite off the field. You know what I'm saying? I do. It's 3rd and 10 and you handing the ball off, but in real life you throwing Hail Marys. Like you taking all kind of chances in real life, chances on your job, chances on your wife, chances on your kids, on your family, all kind of chances, allegedly. But shoot, on the field, it's 3rd and 8, and here you go handing the ball off to the fullback or something. Like, dude, take some chances on the field. You want to take chances? But anyway, back to Coach Newberry, man. I had to get that off my chest. But back to Coach Newberry, this is a man that's family first and foremost. Um, and he's also, a leader of men. To be a head coach at one of the service academies, you have to be more than just a coach on the field. You have to also be a leader of men. And, he's also a guy that's familiar with big time rivalries, you know. And the Army Navy rivalry is just as big as Michigan Ohio State, if not bigger, So he knows the importance of preparing to win big games, and, the importance of rivalries and everything else. And I think that he'll be the perfect fit for Michigan. Now, whether they do it or not, I doubt it. They probably won't even give him a call. But in my opinion, who else to right the ship at Michigan than the head coach of the midshipmen? See what I did there? But anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know yours down in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is J-Abdul Sports. I'm out.
Like the Ohio player said, heaven must be like this. Heaven must be like this.